Good evening, good evening. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another live edition of Carolina Panthers Talk, brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the U to the Tube. I am your host for this evening, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. Well. Got a hot topic tonight. So, guess the experiment is over, as the Carolina Panthers have released quarterback Baker Mayfield. Well, good evening, Vietnam. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you. Well, that didn't last as long as I thought it would, but let's talk about it tonight. But yes, as of today, earlier today, Carolina Panthers have released quarterback Baker Mayfield. Apparently, afterwards, it has been named that Sam Darnold will be the main starter and PJ Walker will be the backup. I mean, it's been quite a crazy, and not in a good way, season for Baker Mayfield. I mean, a lot more downs than ups. I mean, let's just keep it real. Vietnam says, I gotta tell you that if we beat the Seattle Seahawks and score 4 touchdowns doing it, I will have renewed faith in this team. Any particular reason why it has to be 4 touchdowns? That's going to be tough. Seattle's been playing good this year, and the game will be in Seattle. That's going to be tough. And we haven't won on the road yet. That's going to be tough, my friend. I mean, it would be awesome, but that's going to be tough. But yeah, it's been crazy. Phanom says, because I believe that it will take that much to beat them. Well, I don't know. I mean, perhaps. I mean, they have put up a good number of points this year. I will say that. They put up a good number of points this year. But, I mean, they're a great team. I mean, they're 7-5. They're a great team. So, I mean, it may take that. But, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Baker was a major disappointment. Yeah, to be honest, it was definitely a bummer. Because, I mean, the dude had a good training camp, came in pretty much just in time. I mean, they only gave up like peanuts to get him. So it's not like he was expensive. He was also on a 5th-year option. So it's not like it was expensive to do so. So that's why I said if we do, then I will have renewed faith. Hey, as long as they win, could be great, could be ugly, but get the dub. That's all I really care about. Get the dub. But Baker Mayfield had a good training camp. Had that going. Pretty much won the starting job. An ugly win? Yeah, it could end up being an ugly win. But hey, wins add up. I mean, you want to win hands down and as convincing as possible, but that doesn't change the fact that wins add up. Losses add up in a negative way. Come on, Blitz. We need to make a statement. A statement would be winning the game, period. A statement would be winning the game, period. Like, at the end of the day, the win counts the same. Whether it's ugly or a blowout, a win counts the same. I mean, it's just like I've said before with like winning the Super Bowl. Is it really that much of a difference between an undefeated team winning the Super Bowl and a 9-8 team that made to the playoffs and won the Super Bowl? It's not really that much of a difference. It's not. It's the same prize. I mean, shoot, you saw what happened to Carolina. You saw what happened to the Patriots, and they couldn't. They did all that and couldn't finish the job. Did you see what the Niners did to Miami or how Dallas did Indy? That's how I want to win. I mean, that's fine. I mean, that's impressive. But my point is, how is it any different from any other team that, wins that's not a blowout and wins the same prize? It's all for the same prize. That's my point. It's all for the same prize. I mean, we never whip a team like that. Wait a minute. What about what we did to the Bucks? Does that not count? What about what we did to the Bucks? Doesn't that count? I mean, I know it was, a little while ago, but doesn't that one count? I mean, we're very capable. That was only 25 points. We held the Bucks to a field goal. Really? We held the Bucks to a field goal. Tom Brady led Bucks to a field goal. Never seen us score 50 on anybody. Why does that matter? Like, okay, is it impressive? Sure, but does it really matter? I mean, it's impressive. I'll give you that. It's very impressive. But like, how is that different from, say, a handful of years ago when we beat the Chiefs 38-0? That wasn't 50 points. Or, when we beat the Cardinals in the NFC Championship, that wasn't 50 points. I mean, it can be a shutout of even 14-0 is impressive. Offense does their job. Defense shines greatly and does their job. I mean, a shutout is a shutout. You are able to score, the other team isn't. That alone is impressive. Even if it's 3-0, 7-0. You being able to score and preventing the other team, 4 quarters, prevent the other team from scoring, that's impressive. Like, I think people forget how difficult that is. A shutout is extremely difficult, especially in football. Football, soccer, baseball. Because those games aren't short. Those games are long, I think a shutout period, whether it's 40-0 or 3-0, is impressive. Shoot. And I know for the Carolina Panthers, a shutout is something that we rarely have gotten, or at least haven't gotten in a while. We've rarely gotten shutouts. That for sure. We rarely have gotten shutouts, but I will claim a 3-0 shutout just as impressive as a 40-0 shutout. I like shutouts, true, but it's been a long time since we've had an offensive explosion that states that we're here. I mean, but my thing is, how does the Bucs game not count, though? How does the Bucs game not count, Fayetnon? That's what I'm having a hard time with. How does the Bucs game not count? 3 touchdowns. No field goals, 3 touchdowns to a Tom Brady-led Buccaneers that couldn't even get in the end zone. I'm just saying. And that was this year. That was this year. Because it was only 25 points. Bro, the Bucs didn't score a touchdown. They didn't score a touchdown. 21-3. That's an 18-point deficit. 18 points. That's what? That's a 3-possession deficit. The offense was lacking. I mean, how was the offense lacking when we had no turnovers, 2 touchdowns through the air, and a rushing touchdown? How was the offense lacking? How was the offense lacking? 2 touchdowns through the air, 1 on the ground, no turnovers. Like it. Go ahead. I'm listening. Like I said, I'm open. We're chatting. Nah, we good. Keep it coming. We good. We having a discussion. I mean, specifically in comparison, let's see what you say. Dallas, the Niners, and Philly. I mean, totally different teams. But you say the Panthers win over the Bucs doesn't compare to that. Like, how does it not compare to that when, number one, it's a division game? Number two, it's a matchup that we haven't won in a number of years, especially since Tom Brady took over. And number three, we held Tom Brady and that offense to a field goal. Yeah, I agree that our offense definitely overall offensive ranking, differs from those teams. I'll give you that, but I just think it's messed up to downplay that in a game where we dominated on every side of the ball, including the offense. Like, we got to stop downplaying our victories. We got to stop doing that. And this is for me. This is for me as well. I've had my moments, but we got to stop downplaying our victories. We got to stop doing that. As a fan base, we got to stop doing that. Like, Like that's my whole thing. Like, and honestly, excuse me. And honestly, this is, I guess you could say, this is my charge, my shout out to the Keep Pounding Nation. We got to stop downplaying our victories. Like, go crazy all we want when we when we lose. I get that. Totally get that. But we got to stop downplaying our victories, especially a victory like that, which we haven't had in a long time, especially against a team we haven't been able to beat in a number of seasons. Like, the bright side is so much bigger. Vietnam, the bright side in this situation is so much bigger. So much bigger. And the thing is, I get wanting to see consistency in the offense. I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. I mean, the rankings say that. The rankings definitely say that. I want that too. But my thing is, when you use an example like that, especially in a game where, like I said, defense did their part too. It definitely wasn't all offense. This was a complete win. But it's like, you got to look at things like, we didn't turn the ball over, and we scored 3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns. And I think our offense will get there. Probably won't be until after Ben McAdoo's gone, because I don't see Ben McAdoo staying. But I mean, that's my whole thing. But yeah, no problem. And appreciate the discussion as well. Like I said, I totally get where you're coming from. I do. But my whole thing is, to the fans, to the Keep Pounding Nation as a whole, we can't downplay our victories. We can't downplay victories like that. Because like I said, us beating the Bucks like we did, we hadn't done in forever. So, Baker Mayfield. Let's take a look at Baker Mayfield's final stats this season as a Carolina Panther. Let's see what these final stats look like. If we make the playoffs, then we will have to be able to score 4 or 5 touchdowns. 3 ain't going to win. Depends. Depends on the matchup. Depends on the matchup. I think that's really what it comes down to. I think it really depends on the matchup. Hey, Kevin, what's up? Can you believe Tom Brady won? Unfortunately, that's hurt our playoff chances. Yeah. New Orleans Saints, y'all disappoint me. Saints, y'all disappoint me. Why in the world y'all going to be up 16-3, holding them to a field goal throughout the whole game, and then y'all let them score twice in back-to-back last 2 final drives? What the heck? Saints, y'all disappointed me. Y'all disappointed me like crazy. Saints defense, y'all disappointed me. Held it down, but then those final 2 drives. Can't put too much blame on Andy Dalton, I guess. I don't know. I only caught caught half of the game. Kevin says we would not beat the Cowboys in the playoffs. They scored 54 points against the Colts. Well, here's the thing that we have to keep in mind. Not every team is going to, not every game is going to be a 3, 4, 5 touchdown game. Y'all know how difficult that is? Especially with this being the pros. Like, that's freaking difficult, y'all. We gotta keep in mind how difficult it is to do that, especially from a team that hasn't really done a lot of that since 2015, especially offensively. Like, let's not forget, how difficult that is. It's difficult. Hey, Paul Mancini, welcome. Kevin, welcome. Good evening, Jason. I expected and stated that he would likely be released once both Sam Darnold and PJ Walker got healthy. He had his last chance to impress in the Ravens game, and it was over. Yeah, pretty much. Cruz, I haven't seen you online in a while. What the heck, dude? The Saints choked tonight. Yes, they did. Their offense should have scored another touchdown early in the fourth quarter to make the knockout punch. That would have helped tremendously. But they had to settle for field goal to keep the Bucs within 2 touchdowns. Yeah, that's why you got to get it in the end zone. Field goals are nice. They're points, but you got to get it in the end zone. Paul says that pass interference call was the killer. Looked like a C.J. Henderson move right there. Oh, yeah, on the deep throw. Yeah, on that deep throw. Yeah, that hurt. That definitely hurt. I thought there was a little bit of hope for the Saints after the Bucs got that offensive holding penalty, but then 2 drives later, or two plays later, they get the touchdown anyway. But final stats for Baker Mayfield this season as a Carolina Panther. Check this out, y'all. 7 games played, 119 completions out of 206 attempts. Finished with a 57.8 completion percentage, 1,313 yards passing, averages 6.4 yards, 187.6 yards a game. His longest completion was 75 yards, 6 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, got sacked 19 times, rating of 74.4. A QBR of 18.2, second to last. So ranking-wise, season stats, dead last in yards, second to last in touchdowns, tied at 10th for interceptions, and second to last in QBR. So, ugh. He also had 16 rushes, 52 yards, and 1 rushing touchdown. Well, patty cake, Baker is gone. Paul says that 3rd and 1 play call by the Saints where they tried a quick pass instead of running for the first down when they had to punt. Yeah, that was so dumb. That was so dumb. I don't know why they did that. I'm like, make them use up their timeouts. Like, that was so dumb. Oh, so dumb. Cruiser says Baker Mayfield is probably begging his agent to contact the 49ers. Yeah, which I don't know if the 49ers picked up anybody, but I can imagine they're looking. But who knows? I mean, when I last saw on Cat's Crave, they were thinking 4 possible destinations were the Texans, Rams, Niners, or the Broncos were 4 destinations that they were thinking of. Broncos, Niners, Rams, and Texans. Paul says that QBR rating of 18 is out of a perfect score of 100, one of the worst ever in the NFL. I don't see any team picking him up.
That's the thing about it.
Yeah,
They don't happen.
like, I mean, I think Stephen A. said it best. Baker Mayfield's career is in grave jeopardy. Said by Stephen A. Smith. And he was already clowning him throughout most of the season. And when it came down to it, his best game was, well, I mean, technically his best game was the Bengals game. I mean, 14 for 20, 155 yards, 2 touchdowns. Now, as far as best game that resulted in a win was the Saints game, 12 of 25, 170 yards, and a touchdown. I mean, that doesn't say a whole lot for his stats, but, I mean, there were positive stats, I guess. I mean, he didn't turn the ball over, so at least there's that. But 49ers picked up Josh Jackson last night, who was a third string for the 49ers late last year and knows their system. And head coach Shanahan has little to no interest in Baker Mayfield. Oh, interesting. Oh, and they also have Jacob Eason. That's right. I forgot the Niners got Jacob Eason as well. Quarterback Josh Johnson. Oh, I remember him. Josh Johnson. Yeah, I remember him. I mean, spent a lot of time as a backup, and I remember he did play for Tampa Bay as well. But I guess, well, he's a veteran. I mean, there's that. Apparently played with the Ravens last season, played 1 game. Had a 70 completion percentage, 304 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Oh, he played for Baltimore, 1 game for Baltimore and 3 games for the Jets. I see. He's been all over the place. Tampa Bay, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Washington, New York Jets, Baltimore. Yeah, he's been around. Sounds like he's been around. Yeah, Paul. Josh Johnson played for San Diego State, I believe, and has bounced around. San Diego. Has bounced around many teams. Oh. Okay. Right on. I guess, is there no timetable on Trey Lance? Is Trey Lance out for the season? Oh, yeah. Yeah, never mind. Right fibula, that's right. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oof. Well, Yeah, Josh Johnson it is, I guess. I mean, who knows? Maybe at one I wonder if anybody there considered entertaining the idea of Cam Newton, but guess they'll see what they do for Josh Johnson. Cruiser says Trey Lance might be out for part of the 2023 season as well. Yeah, if it's a right fibula, that seems Trey Lance idiot for the season and won't be doing football activities similar to Matt Corral. I guess you meant out for the season. Yeah. Well, I mean a right fibula. That's oof. That's pretty serious. That's pretty serious. I mean, I even kind of wonder the same thing about Dante Jackson, and he tore his Achilles tendon. That's tough to bounce back from. Shoot, your foot probably has trouble moving right with torn Achilles, but it's crazy. It's really crazy. But so check this out though. So thinking back to how this whole Baker Mayfield situation even gave birth to the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers originally traded a conditional 2024 fifth round draft pick to the Browns in July for the rights to Baker Mayfield. Now that pick could have become a fourth rounder in 2024 if he played 70% of the snaps. Unfortunately, he did not. So, I mean, he didn't play to, the level of expectation. So, if I remember correctly, I believe does this turn to so this would turn into a fifth rounder, right? Okay. So yeah. So because Baker Mayfield didn't play 70% of the offensive snaps, it turns into a fifth round draft pick. So a 2024 fifth round draft pick instead of a fourth round draft pick. So we lost out on that, but still, I mean, it was a conditional draft pick, but instead of a fourth rounder, it's going to be a fifth rounder. So just something to note for the future. Paul says at this time of the season, it's very hard to bring in a quarterback and learn a new season and learn a new system and teammates and receivers, which is true. Panthers will owe Cleveland Browns a 2023 fifth round pick, so no biggie really, and didn't pay much in salary either. Wait a minute. How do we owe them a pick? Wait a minute. How do we owe them a pick? I thought we gave up our pick and we got Baker Mayfield. I guess I'm confused. Oh, and also a side note, Baker Mayfield requested his release. So didn't know if anybody knew that or not, but Baker Mayfield actually requested his release. So requested and granted. That's what the word is. Requested and granted. Requested and granted. So I guess Paul, how do we owe Cleveland a 5th round 2023 pick? Let me see. So we traded a 4th round conditional pick for Baker, which became a 5th rounder because he didn't play 70% of the snaps. No. So because he didn't play 70%, that means the 4th round pick just changes to a 5th round pick. That's all it was for 2024. So it just changes to a 5th round. It would have stayed a 4th round if he had played the 70% of the snaps. But we shouldn't have to give the Browns back a pick. It was just that he didn't play the 70% of the snaps. So because he didn't and we let him go, that means that we just have to deal with a 5th round pick instead of a 4th round pick. That's pretty much what that is. Hey, Rally Sport, welcome to the stream. Hi, Blitz. Is this true? Why have you let Baker go? What's going on? I think he's good. I hate to break it to you, Rally Sport, but Baker Mayfield was terrible this year. Baker was terrible this year. Just to give you another rundown of his stats, Rally Sport, let me give you another rundown of his stats. So, played in 7 games, a 57.8 completion percentage, 119 out of 206, 1,313 yards passing, 6 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, got sacked 19 times. Averaged 6.4 yards a pass, 187.6 yards a game, and his longest was 75 yards. So, yeah, not good this year. Not the year for Baker Mayfield, unfortunately. Mr. Gemini, welcome to the stream. Yes, he was not good this year. Yeah. Unfortunately, there was some promise. He had a good training camp and a great preseason and earned the starting job. But aside from the one win that he had as a starter against the Saints, and he put up some stats in the Cincinnati blowout, Baker really hasn't done great this year. He really hasn't. So yes, he is a free agent. They just released him. He requested his release, and it was granted. Paul says, once coach told Baker he was 3rd quarterback on the depth chart behind Darnold and PJ Walker, then Baker instructed coach to release him, in which they did. I mean, in all honesty, Paul, and that might be true. Could indeed be true. But honestly, if you ask me, I really think the writing was on the wall that once Sam Darnold was good to go and once PJ Walker returned, I think it was going to be out the door for Baker anyways, because he hasn't been good. Yeah. Baker Mayfield and OBJ free agents. Although I've been hearing talks about the idea of Odell Beckham Jr. going to the Cowboys. That's what I've recently heard about him possibly landing with Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb and Ezekiel Elliott. Cruiser says Baker hasn't played well since 2000. He played mediocre in 2020, 2021. And also, he did get hurt as well. So, he did get hurt. But yes, I would say 2000 was definitely his best year. You know, they had the playoff run. 2020. Yeah, 2020. I knew what you meant, 2020. I knew what you meant. Yeah, OBJ to the Cowboys. That would be crazy. That would be really crazy. Mr. Gemini said, I heard some people say Baker to the Niners. I'm not sure, Coach. I think Paul mentioned, I think Kyle Shanahan wasn't a fan of it, but I mean, there's still time. But I heard that Kyle Shanahan wasn't a fan of it, but we'll see. Paul says he was a goner after the Ravens game. He wasn't going to see the field again as a Panther. Coach knew it, Baker knew it. Yeah, I mean, hate to say it, but it is true. It is true. Jimmy G, not best. I'll say this about Jimmy Garoppolo. I wouldn't say he has crazy high numbers, but that is somebody that has a great win percentage as a starting quarterback, and he does pretty well at taking care of the ball. So I will give him credit on that. When Jimmy G starts, he has a great win percentage when he starts. I know it's not all on him, but technically he has a great win percentage when he starts. Niners likely don't want Baker, even though Baker would like to play for them. I don't doubt that. Paul says Coach Shanahan publicly stated that today that it would be very surprised if they talked to Baker Mayfield. Hey, there you go. There you go. There you go. But Baker Mayfield started 5 games this season, 5 games, and only won one of them. So just and technically, statistically, they said that his Baker Mayfield's best game was actually week 1 against the Browns. Threw for a season high 235 yards, a touchdown and an interception, and he had an 84.6 passer rating against the Browns. So apparently that was Baker Mayfield's best game this season statistically. Interesting. And also, Baker Mayfield did have a rushing touchdown that game. So that's right. He had a passing touchdown and a rushing touchdown that game. Let's see. Joe Valesco says maybe Baker Mayfield, the Colts. Oh no, that's a downgrade. From Matt Ryan to Baker Mayfield, that's a downgrade. I think that's a downgrade. Let's see. Did you see the Tampa Bay Saints game? Wait a minute, I just lost my spot. Crazy heck of a comeback. Thought the Saints had it. Yeah, Mr. Gemini, the Saints really disappointed me tonight. 16-3 lead. Really, really disappointed me tonight. Rally Sports says, when did Baker leave? Earlier today sometime or just now breaking news? It was earlier today. I think it was before 4 p.m. Paul says, Jimmy G is an efficient quarterback where he runs the offense and doesn't lose games for you is what Jimmy G is. Facts. Yeah, his revenge game was Baker's best game. Correct. Yep. Baker left the Panther facility late. Oh, it was late this morning. Gotcha. I knew they said that they were expecting to release him. So I did catch that. Baker's stats versus the Browns was inflated by the 75-yard touchdown pass to wide open Robbie Anderson. Yep, but it still counts. But yeah, it was definitely. Yeah, I agree though. Do you think that loss to the Browns took some out of Baker? I wouldn't say that because I mean, potential was there. Even in that first game, despite the loss, the potential was there. So there was still expectation that he was going to bounce back. And honestly, I thought it would have been in the Giants game, but he didn't finally get a win into the Saints game. And, so that's my only thing with that. Jeff R., welcome to the stream. Guys, we finally get a chance to see Sam behind a good O-line. Let's remember, McAdoo never wanted Baker. This is true. He always wanted Sam. We have a chance to be a different team going forward. I'm excited again. I really, really, really hope it works out because fool me once, shame on them. Fool me twice, shame on me. And that's how I'm playing it right now with Sam Darnold. Because I haven't forgotten who Sam Darnold is. Yes, that is a fact about the O-line situation. But this is Sam Darnold. That's why I'm keeping an open mind as best as I can because I still don't think Sam Darnold is a good quarterback. But if anything, this is his chance. This is his chance to see if he can pull off an incredible comeback this late in the season. He's going to have a shot. We'll see what he can do. He's got the tools. So I hope it works out. I'm not sold on Sam Darnold. I'm not gonna act like I am. Let it be known I am not sold on Sam Darnold. But we got a taste. In that Broncos game, we got a taste. First start of this year, we got another taste. We saw what happened last season. Started off good. We had a nice couple of sandwiches, and then we just ended up with crumbs or less. So we got a taste so far this season of Sam Darnold. How will it pan out? We'll have to see. Matt Ryan better than Baker Mayfield. Facts. We got to remember, Matt Ryan was a former MVP. Won it the year after Cam. The Texans are all in on one of the two big prospects in the 2023 draft. Oh, I guess they've lost confidence in Davis Mills. No love for Davis Mills. Guess not. James, welcome to the stream. Panthers still in the fight at week 14. Got to win out, basically. Yep, pretty much. Pretty much. Paul says Baker's style, lack of real mobility and lack of a strong arm, was never really suited for long-term success in the NFL, in my opinion. I thought this was when he came out of college, to be honest. Sam Darnold is the best quarterback on the roster, so give him a shot and let's see what he can do. That says something. Best quarterback on the roster, that says something. I think he'll play pretty well behind a better O-line and steady running game. We'll see. But if he doesn't, then I don't expect Sam Darnold to be here after the end of this season, because I'm just saying. Mr. Gemini says, I wonder how our record would have been if we didn't sign Baker, but we will never know. I mean, I'll say this. Yes, Baker definitely didn't work out. I do understand the move. I do understand the move originally because, I mean, let's keep it real. A lot of the fan base was not on for Sam Darnold while he was with Carolina, even before he was with Carolina. So, I mean, you can't really blame them for that, especially after the season that we had last year. But you know what? You know, let's see if Sam Darnold has matured. Let's see if he's matured. Because I'll keep it real. I'll be honest with y'all. The Broncos game, Sam Darnold did his job, and you know what? I give him this. Sam Darnold looked very comfortable in that pocket. The O-line, despite a couple of penalties, protected Sam Darnold. Had no sacks that game. And you know what? Sam Darnold made some confident throws. I'll give him credit. He made some confident, good throws, including a very nice deep one, which I will say, Sam does have a deep ball. I will say that. Sam does have a deep ball. But at the end of the day, Sam Darnold did his job. I'm not going to say he impressed, because stats don't really say that it was impressive. But he did his job. Definitely did his job. No shame in that. That man did his job. Texans benched Davis Mills 2 weeks ago. Darnold cannot play any worse than what Baker Mayfield did. I wouldn't be so sure of that. It is very possible. It is very possible. With 6 games left, it is very possible. Very possible. We got 6 games left. Or wait, that's 5 games left. 5 games. I mean, got 5 games left. So, it's very possible. Rally Sports says, I've just watched the Bucs versus Saints. Oh my God, it's not a good season to be a Saints fan. So annoying. I thought we won the Bucs tonight. No. Rally Sport, man, I was so disappointed in the Saints. What the heck? How y'all be up 16-3 and then y'all lose in the final 2 drives? What's up with that? What in the world? Paul says, Wilkes wants to run the ball 25 to 30 times a game with only 20 to 24 passes, so Sam should do well in this conservative offense. That's the problem, Paul. We need to not be conservative. We need to be aggressive. We need to be aggressive. Stop settling for field goals and go for touchdowns. Stop settling for digs and dunks. Throw it downfield. We got a strong run game, so we got that part, but we gotta start throwing the ball downfield more. This conservative crap ain't gonna last. We gotta stick to the game plan, and we gotta be aggressive. We gotta be aggressive. How do you think the fans will react if Sam throws an interception, especially a pick six this weekend? I would think the fans would be like, he is who he thought he was. That's what I would think, Mr. Gemini. Paul says 5 games left, and Darnold already won as many games as Baker did in his 6 starts. This is true. This is true. Some teams are on fire this season. I think the Niners and Eagles, while they look good, especially the Eagles. Eagles are the biggest threat in the NFC for sure. Wilkes is a conservative coach, Jason. It's his philosophy, and it won't change with him as long as he is head coach. He can be that all he wants to, and if that ends up being bad, don't expect him to get hired, because that's not going to cut it. We got too good a talent to be conservative. Too good a talent. The talent's there. The talent's there. We have too good talent to be conservative. Especially offensively. We should be aiming for touchdowns as much as possible. Now, I will give Eddie Pinheiro credit. Since the Falcons game, he has not missed a kick. I will give him that. And he's probably on he's probably on alert, because he botched that Falcons game, that first meeting. But he hasn't missed a kick since then. So I like how he's treating it like he's on thin ice. That's good. That's good. That's a good way to go about it. Mr. Gemini says, says maybe Wilt shouldn't be coached in. We play too conservative at times. And Mr. Gemini's right. Especially if we know that we have an opportunity for a touchdown, especially after a turnover, we need to be playing for the touchdown. Not because we got a 2-score lead. We better be playing for a touchdown, especially after a turnover, and we got good field position. We better be playing for a touchdown. Paul says, what I was impressed with Darnold's game after 3 days of practice with the ones, when you think about it. And like I said, Sam Darnold, he did his job. He came in, was good to go. What I liked about Sam Darnold, you know what? And see, the thing is, we got a taste that Sam Darnold is at least capable. I mean, he made some good throws. He looked very comfortable in the pocket, and he's got the protection. So is there hope? Absolutely. There is hope. Absolutely. And maybe this is all going to come around full circle, that maybe indeed Sam Darnold does well when he has time. Now, he's had a history of bad decision making, but we're about to see if he's really fixed that or not. Because if the O-line plays like they played in that Denver game, minus the penalties, with the protection, then Sam Darnold is very capable. Out of these 5 games, maybe we win 4. We need to win out, but and the important thing was he took good care of the ball. Took good care of the ball in that Broncos game. Paul says, yes, I agree about Wilkes, too conservative, but this is the way he coaches. So to expect him to coach differently is wishful thinking. And that's fine. But if that's the case, maybe him being the permanent head coach with the Panthers might not be a great idea. But I will make my decision on that at the end of the season with our final record. Mr. Gemini says, we can't play conservative against good offensive teams. Imagine if we played that way against Kansas City, especially in situations where the defense has to carry the load. But at the end of the day, regardless, whatever they got to do, as long as it equals a win, that's really all that matters. The win is what counts. I mean, some are going to be ugly. Some are going to be big. I mean, some are going to be dominating, but a win is a win. They all equal the same. Sam Darnold is more athletic than most fans realize. He also can scoot out of the pocket and throws well on the run. Baker could not do this. I think the Panthers can finish 3-2 these last 5 games and finish 7-10. 7-10. Only a 2-game improvement. Ugh. I'm not sure if a 2-game improvement will be enough to keep Steve Wilkes, but we'll see. We will see. And then, but more Baker Mayfield talk. Stephen A. Smith says his career is in jeopardy. Y'all believe this is true? Y'all believe his career is in jeopardy? I mean, I think he will get picked up somewhere. It just probably won't be the rest of the season. I mean, we got to remember, the dude is 27 years old. I mean, he's still young. So, I mean, we can't say that he's never had some success, even if it's a pinch of it, because he had it once with Cleveland. But, I mean, it just comes down to seeing who'll take a chance on him. Who will take a chance on him? But, hey, crazy things have happened. I mean, hey, we took a chance on Sam Darnold. So, I think the Seahawks are tough at home, but they can be run on. Wilkes took over after Panthers were 1-4, so finishing 7-20 means Wilkes went 6-6 in his 12 games. Six and 6 in his 12 games. That's right, because he took over for the Rams game. But we will see. We'll see. I mean, maybe it'll work out. But I'll see what this final record looks like at the end of our season. There was barely a marker for Mayfield this spring and summer outside the Panthers. Now I see no teams being interested after his performance this year. Yeah, I mean, but then again, Paul, you got to also look at it this way. I mean, Sam had a bad year last year, and we're rolling with him again this season. So I mean, somebody will take a chance on him. It may not be the rest of the season, probably won't be until next year, but somebody is going to take a chance on him at some point. Mr. Gemini says, did you hear the story about DJ Moore? Some domestic issue, don't know exactly what it is. Yeah, he cheated on his girl. So nothing football related, but yeah, he cheated on his girl. Sucks. Sucks that went down. Ugh. I definitely don't condone that. That's for sure, man. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's not football related, so it does suck though. It really does suck. Paul says Lions score points and Steelers are improving as rookie quarterback Pickett improves. Didn't the Steelers recently beat somebody? Steelers recently beat somebody, I thought. Oh, yeah, the Falcons. That's right. They're on the 2-game win streak. 2-game win streak. Just like no other team was interested in Cam Newton last year and this year, I don't see any teams being interested in Baker Mayfield or Carson Wentz. I mean, it's possible. It's very possible, but I got to keep it real with you, Paul. Cam Newton, different scenario. It's not really a fair comparison. Baker Mayfield was here at the beginning of the season. Cam Newton came in week 10. It's not really the same. It's not really the same. That's the only thing. But I think Cam Newton right now is just enjoying himself. I think he's doing his thing. He was recently at a Charlotte Hornets game, and I think he was at another football game, or I think he was at a Wake Forest football game or something like that. He was at some football game somewhere. Mr. Gemini said, "Oh yeah, Steelers have won 2 in a row. Yeah, on the road against the Colts and the Falcons. Yes, that is correct." Mr. Gemini says, "Cam signed and played the next day or the day after." Yeah, I mean, and he played week 10, started week 11. Played in week 10, started week 11. Like, that's not really a fair comparison. I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying, Paul, but the thing is, it's messed up with Cam. It's really messed up with Cam because Cam's healthy. Cam's healthy. And the fact of the matter is Cam was done dirty once again. Because it's like I said before, like I think it's unfair, like, coaches and analysts and whatnot. I think it's unfair for anybody to expect success from somebody coming in as late as week 10 to get the system and everything down and expect success, So, it's a bummer that nobody was interested in giving Cam a chance, especially on a fresh season. So, only the Panthers have been interested in quarterbacks that the rest of the NFL considered washed up. I mean, they were interested in Deshaun Watson. I wouldn't say that he was exactly washed up. Although, let me see. Although Deshaun Watson did not look good in his season debut against the Texans, 12 of 22, 131 yards and an interception. Yeah, Deshaun Watson, he definitely struggled. And it makes me wonder if that could be just that, they played against the Texans or whatnot. But yeah, they struggled. Deshaun Watson struggled. As a matter of fact, their touchdowns were from a pick six and a punt return. Yeah, I believe those were their only touchdowns. And a fumble recovery? Was a fumble recovery as well? Or maybe not. Yeah, fumble recovery for a touchdown. Yeah. So I think pretty much their only touchdowns were special teams and defense. But hey, I mean, it is what it is, I guess. Wow. Deshaun Watson won't be a good quarterback until next season, as he has 2 years of rust to shake off. That is a good point. It's been a while. It's been a while since he's been a starting quarterback in the NFL. So that is a fair point. It is a very fair point. But so we had the bye week. That's over. We play this Sunday. Tell me, y'all, so far this season, what grade would you give the Carolina Panthers season? So far. This gentleman says, LL, you know that song? Oh, yeah. It's been a while by Stain. Yeah, good song. Hadn't heard it in forever, but very iconic. I do remember it. I wonder what they've been doing. I haven't heard anything from them in a while. Paul says, watch the Panthers go after Jacoby Brissett next offseason. Shoot, we need to draft a quarterback. We really need to consider drafting a quarterback. We need to draft a quarterback. We need to draft him. We need to draft him and give Matt Corral a chance to compete. We still should give Matt Corral a chance to compete. But I think the quarterback situation, I mean, we'll have to see how this final record looks like at the end of the season. But if I had to give a grade, for the Carolina Panthers so far this season, I would have to say a D plus. I got to keep it real. I have to say a D plus. Oh, we got some C minuses. Okay. Paul says C minus. They should have won the Browns and Falcons game. They would be 6-6 and in decent shape. Yeah, close games. Very close games. And really, we should have won the Giants game. I still feel like we really could have won the Giants game. We only lost by 3. We really should have won the Giants game. Mr. Gemini says offense is D-, defense B+, overall C-, close to a D+ though. I feel you. Yeah, defense has definitely been the strong suit between the two. Definitely been the strong suit between the two. But here's the thing. Paul says Baker's grade is a F, PJ Walker a C, and Sam Darnold with too small of a sample size just yet. No, that's fair. That's fair. And here's the thing. I am still skeptical, y'all. I'm still skeptical of Steve Wilks. I still don't think he's done enough to warrant a shot at being full-time head coach. Heck of a defensive guy, especially coordinator, defensive backs coach, assistant, coordinator, stuff like that. I mean, he was our defensive backs coach when we last went to the Super Bowl, so he knows his stuff on defense. But here's my thing. Are we really overhyping Steve Wilks? What do y'all think about that? Are we overhyping Steve Wilks a little too much? Because at the end of the day, what really has he done overall? Head coach specifically. I mean, he was 5-6 as a head coach in the NCAA. And in the NFL, he's 6-17. So I mean, Paul says O-line and running back room has been a solid B. Wide receiver room a C. And tight end a D, mostly due to quarterback play. Defense is a solid B. Special teams a solid B. Okay. Ooh, nice breakdown. Mr. Gemini says he hasn't proved enough yet. I agree. I really agree. And it's like, because, I mean, where did he coach in college? Savannah State. 5-6 overall, 3-4 in the conference. And then, of course, we know the Arizona story, 3-13. Because, I mean, it makes me wonder a lot of things with Steve Wilks. I'll use myself as an example. You know what? I'll use myself as an example. Check this out. Oh, let me get Paul's comment first. Paul says there are 3 reasons why I believe Tepper will retain Wilks with a 2-year contract. Number 1, the bad press that Tepper has gotten for the last year and a half. And Wilks is a local Charlotte guy, which fans and I'll wait for the rest of his comment. But I got his example to break down with this, but let me wait and see what Paul's other two reasons are. But yes, this is true. He is a Charlotte, North Carolina native. This is true. Went to App State. Over in Boomtown. And the media likes too what to do about the quarterback situation. If you hire an outside coach, then it's a redo all over again. And then I think you had a third reason. Uh-oh. Oh, and here we go. Number 3. And if they finish with a 7-8, with 7 to 8 wins, it's something to build on, and especially if they finish 4-2 in the division, which is a foundation to build on. Okay, those are your three. Those are your 3 reasons. Okay, let's break this down. Okay, your first reason: the bad press that Tepper has gotten for the last year and a half, and Wilkes is a local Charlotte guy, which fans and media like. Here's the thing with that. Yes, he's a Charlotte guy. But honestly, that really shouldn't matter. That shouldn't matter if he's a Charlotte guy or he was from Okinawa and his home was Okinawa. That really shouldn't matter. The only thing that I could see that maybe playing a part is if he did well enough and offered a hometown discount to sign as head coach. If he did well enough, that's really the only benefit I can see from that. But him, outside of that, him being a Charlotte native, doesn't matter. Shouldn't really matter that much. Whether it was he's from Charlotte, from New York, or whatnot. Reason number 2, what to do about the quarterback situation if you hire an outside coach and it's a redo all over again. I mean, if he gets hired, even if he gets hired on full time, wouldn't the quarterback situation be redone anyway? I mean, a lot of the staff would be redone anyway as well, because I don't see Ben McAdoo being retained. We already lost Paul Pasqualoni. You know, we already lost Phil Snow. So I mean, the quarterback situation. I mean, I would think it would be redone anyway. Especially if Sam Darnold doesn't do too well and whatnot. And we got to remember, Sam Darnold's on a 5th-year option, and he's got to do enough to prove that he deserves another extension, and he hasn't done so yet. So that's still a big what if. And then your third reason, if they finish with a 7-8 wins, it's something to build on, and especially if they finish 4-2 in the division, which is a foundation to build on. I do highly agree with your third reason, but that's a what if. That is a what if, but I do agree with your third reason. Definitely. But yeah, I also agree with Gemini. We shouldn't hire a coach out of emotion, but out of logic. And if you're qualified, regardless of whether he's next to the stadium or whatnot. Paul says if the Panthers finish strong, the fans and media who already don't trust Tepper, so if he hires a newbie, unproven head coach, he will get hammered. And like I said, that totally goes along with, what if the Panthers finish strong? Because if the Panthers do finish strong, there's definitely should be consideration for Steve Wilkes. But at the same time, I don't think it should be any more than a 3-year contract, maybe no more than a 2-year contract to see how he would do with a full season. Paul says, let's say Darnold plays well these 5 games. Then can you go into the 2023 season with Darnold and Corral and add one more in the draft? Plays well in 5 games as in we win said 5 games? Like how many wins are we talking? How many wins are we talking? Because, playing well is good and all, but playing well should yield wins. It should yield wins. So if it doesn't yield wins, then I'm gonna have to say it's not good enough. It's got to yield wins. A 2-year deal is plenty for Wilkes. Most of the staff will be retained and a couple added. I hope McAdoo isn't retained. I really hope McAdoo is not retained. He really hasn't done anything to really show that after the season, I'll be very shocked. But anyways, let me but yeah, if we keep Ben McAdoo, I would be so shocked. Anyways, so I'm gonna use myself as an example to kind of elaborate more on this, on Steve Wilkes, this whole thing. So I had a really, really good job for a number of years. Really good job that I enjoyed and whatnot. And then I left to take on a job that had a bigger title, a little bit more pay. Went to that, lasted 6 months, did not end up liking it, at all. Just chemistry wasn't there. I wasn't enjoying what I was doing. It was a bigger title, a little more money, but it wasn't really something that I was enjoying, nor was I really at my best. But door opened for me to go back to previous said job, and things are all good, and I was even doing better than what I was the first time. Back to the little lower rank that I was before, but doing tons better, morale-wise, chemistry-wise, overall atmosphere, and work-wise. So even though I had that bigger title, it didn't pan out too good for me. Now, I don't blame Steve Wilkes for taking the head coach position in Arizona, especially if it was offered to him and he got a chance to interview and it was offered to him. But once again, it remains to be seen if we can say that Steve Wilkes is a good head coach. Because at the end of the day, you get noticed more when you're a winning coach. And he's not a winning coach. He wasn't even a winning coach in college. So, just something to think about. Paul says a quarterback can play well and teams still lose due to bad defense and or special teams. So it's all relative on how a quarterback plays and not necessarily on win-loss record. Win-loss record gets you into the playoffs. Stats are great, but win-loss record is what gets you into the playoffs, which gets you into championships. So something to keep in mind. I mean, it unfortunately happened with Deshaun Watson because he was a top 5 quarterback when he was last with the Texans, or last played a full season with the Texans, and they finished 4-12. But look where he is now. So at the end of the day, those stats are great and everything, but if it's not translating into wins, then there's a big problem. Luka Doncic. I'm a Mavericks fan. Luka Doncic. Right now, Luka Doncic is on a team that is winless when he scores less than 30 points. That's a problem. That's the team. The rest of the team needs to carry their weight. So it's got to be team. That's important. Paul says, bottom line, we'll all know once the season is over. The state of this franchise and Tepper's reputation around the NFL is not going to attract a high-level head coach. So what's next? A coordinator who has never been a head coach at the NFL level. I don't believe Tepper will go this way. Wait, a head coach never been at the NFL level? Wait, I'm confused. Panthers are not a playoff team. This is the reality of the franchise. Way too many fans have overrated this roster. It's not so much that we overrated the roster, is that there's still hopes that this team can make the playoffs based on how the record looks and the division that we're in. You can't expect fans to just shut that off when it's still clearly a possible path. You can't expect for fans to do that, Paul. You can't expect that. I think that's you can't expect that. That's the only reason. That's the only reason why, this fan base, most of the fans have hope. It's not out of the picture. But yes, Steve Wilkes was the head coach for Arizona. I don't believe Tepper will hire a head coach who has no experience as a head coach in the NFL. So him bringing a coordinator, making the leap to a head coach is not what Tepper is going to do. But didn't he do that with Matt Rule, though? He did that with Matt Rule, though. He brought in Matt Rule. He didn't have any NFL head coaching experience before coming to Carolina. So and then, but wait a minute, I'm confused. So you say that, but then you say him hiring a coordinator, making the leap to head coach is not what Tepper's going to do. But wouldn't that be what would happen with Steve Wilkes, especially if he pans out? Isn't that technically what that is? I mean, not to dismiss that Steve Wilkes has experience, but that's kind of sort of the same path. I mean, at the end of the day, I would rather take a chance on a coordinator that's been in a winning system on a winning team I would rather do that, especially considering, you know, other names out there that would be in the running to transition to head coach. Jeff R says Wilkes is the best hire. If we can't get Peyton, Sean Payton, then I would like to see Wilkes for another full season. It depends on our final record. It depends on our final record at the end of this year. It's really going to depend. Tepper realizes he made a mistake with Rule, who had no NFL head coach experience, so he's not going to do it again this time. Well, at the same time, Paul, I don't trust David Tepper. I don't trust his word. We're talking about somebody that was going to go all in at one point for Deshaun Watson. The man has shown that he's been desperate before. That won't be the last time. If a situation ever came, that would not be the last time. That would not be the last time. Oh my goodness. Seriously. Dang on spammers. Okay. Sorry about that. Continuing on. Blitz. Wilkes is clearly making us better. Games like the Falcons isn't his fault. So far, he is. But I'm not going to jump to conclusions until the final record. Because as I've said before, what notable things has Steve Wilkes done as a head coach over his entire head coaching career, college and NFL? The man has no accolades. That's the only point that I'm making. I hope things go well, and I hope that it turns out that he gets a deserving shot that he earns. But as of now, the main thing a lot of folks are going to look at, 5-6 as a college head coach, 6-17 as an NFL head coach. That's all I'm saying. Is he doing some good things currently? Yes. He's done some good things. Can't take that away from him. But I'm not sold yet on him being our full-time head coach. I'm not. It's way too early. Either so. I don't know. He won't hire the next head coach that has no NFL head coaching experience, which is why he'll give Wilkes a 2-year deal if they play well the last 5 games, which is fair, which is definitely fair. There's no better available candidate. Probably not currently. Like, we'll have to see what this offseason yields. But no, I'm not expecting anything to come up anytime soon. That's for sure. But I think if anything, depending on how this season goes, we're going to have to take some thorough looks this offseason, especially if we bomb out badly. Wilkes took over cluster this year and got the team back on track. That's what's matter, and not what he did in Arizona in college. Is the team on track? Is the team on track? I really don't think we know that for sure yet, Paul. I mean, 3-4 so far since he took over. 3-4 so far. But at the end of the day, it's just like with a job interview. Just like with a job interview. Track record is what they're going to look at. Track record stands out. I don't decide that personally, but a lot of folks look at that. Because at the end of the day, let's think about something. Just bear with me. Bear with me. He was a college head coach, Savannah State, in 1999. Okay. 5-6. He wasn't a head coach again in college after that. Why is that? Why is that? In the NFL, let's see. And not to mention Savannah State head coach in college. That was 1999. The last time that he coached in college was 2005 as a secondary coach for the Washington Huskies. Why hasn't he been a head coach since then? Okay, that's my first question. Okay, he got his first NFL head coaching job 2018. Fortunately, that bombed badly. 3-13? And even when he stepped back into college with Missouri as defensive coordinator, not as head coach. Here it is, 2022, and he's gotten the opportunity to step in. What week was it? Stepped in week number 6. Week 6. Interim head coach. And right now, 3-4. 3-4. I'm hopeful. Because number one, I think one thing that has to play out that's going to really help. Number one, we haven't won a single game on the road. We haven't won a single game on the road. Why can't we win on the road? We haven't won a single game on the road. Even with him stepping in, we haven't won a single game on the road. We are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are 0-5 on the road. We are 0-5 on the road. Oh and 5 on the road, and we are 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4 at home. No, hold up. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, We're 4-3 at home. We're 4-3 at home. Okay, let me get caught up. Vietnam's on a lunch break. Nice. What's for lunch? It's more. Paul says it's more back on track this last month and a half than it's been in 4 years. Fair point there. Fair point to a degree. Ooh, a hero sub. Ooh, delicious. Let's go. I can agree with that to a degree. I also believe that Tepper likes Wilkes' no-nonsense personality and approach, as it's similar to Tepper himself. See, that's what I have a hard time believing, Paul, because remember, Tepper hired Rule because he reminded him of himself. So that's why I find that hard to believe out of David Tepper. I don't trust that man. I don't trust that man. And I know I'm not the only one. Jeff R. says, just about everything has improved since he's been head coach. He understands the culture of Carolina and got the players believing again. Morale definitely is there. Morale is definitely there. But, I mean, morale could be there. And if we end up getting another bad record, another 5-6 win record, I mean, what's that going to do? What's that going to do? I mean, still got to deliver. We're also undefeated at home. No. Since he took over, yes, but overall record, we're not undefeated at home, but since he took over, that is true. But here's the thing. We only have 2 home games left, 3 away games left. 3 away games left. And when you think about it, I mean, one of those home games is going to be a lot more difficult than I think, which is the Lions game. And not only that, the Steelers, while I think we do have a great chance, we have a bad win-loss record in franchise history to the Steelers. Only beaten them one time in a regular season game. Experiences. Thanks to the kicker we lost in Atlanta. I definitely agree with. I tell you what, Jeff R. I got to give Eddie Pinero credit. He hasn't missed a kick since that Atlanta game. It's like he treating it like his life depended on it. He's treating it like his life depended on it. That's definitely for sure. Vietnam says we haven't won on the road because our offense can't score more than 3 touchdowns. The Atlanta game we scored 4 and still lost. Just got to point that out. On 32 head coaches, I met up about our 400 some coaches in the league. Oh, let me see. What do you say? Out of 350. Oh, I missed this one. Let me see this one. Out of 350 to 400 coaches in the NFL, there are only 32 in the NFL, and the fact that he's African American probably didn't lend to many head coaching opportunities. I believe Wilkes has learned from his previous experiences. I mean, One would like to hope so. I mean, I hope so. I really do. I really hope. I'm just not ready to crown this guy yet. I'm not ready to crown this guy. And I think that's fair. I think that's fair. Ooh, that was a big hit. Gotta show me something. Gotta show me something. Ernest Capu says Carolina Panthers will beat the Seahawks this Sunday. Here's hoping. I hope so. We need to. We need to. We need to. But I think a big test for Steve Wilks, we got to win on the road. Yes, he's protected home field since taking over. But y'all, we got 3 away games left. He's got to be able to show that we can win on the road. He's got to. There is no excuses why he can't get a victory or 2 on the road. Especially considering we're already up to this point 0-5 on the road. I need to see this man coach a victory or 2 on the road. Let's see. Lions and Steelers are at home while Seahawks, Saints, Bucks are on the road. Yeah. Seahawks, we all know how tough of a place that is to play. Saints, I think, will be fine. Hopefully. Bucks are trying to make a spark. They just beat the Saints tonight, which was ridiculous because I thought the Saints had it. Jeff R says Denver has a top defense and his game plan had Darnold looking good. That's not a coincidence. Like I said, Darnold did his job, but I can't say that I was impressed. I say that because 11-19, 164 yards and a touchdown, no picks, didn't get sacked. That is good, but it's not impressive. It's good, but it's not impressive. He did his job. He did what he was supposed to do. He did his job. Paul says Seahawks have the worst run defense in the NFL. This could be a big day for the running backs, and play action will be there for Darnold. That's true, but you have to also remember, Paul, we've played some teams low in particular stats this season and still have lost. So just fair warning on that. We should take advantage, but we have lost some of our games to teams with very low stats in multiple areas. So just had to throw that out there. Mr. Gemini says, I remember when we lost against the Bengals, there were people saying that Steve Wilks wasn't it. This is true. This is true. But then again, I mean, it was a tough game altogether, being that it was against the defending AFC champions. So it was a pretty tough game. It would have been incredible if we won, but seeing how that game went. Vietnam says, did y'all know that Jim Harbaugh from Michigan wants to coach in the NFL again? As long as it's a good situation, I would love for him to come here and give us that validity. I would totally be down for Jim Harbaugh. Sure, I'd totally be down. Why not? Why not? Paul says this Sunday's game versus the Seahawks is the season. If they win, they have a fighter's chance with two home games following, and we'll beat the Saints, making the final game a meaningful game, perhaps. That's a very, very possible scenario for sure. Definitely a very possible scenario. So I can agree with you on that. Jeff R says no more college coaches. They don't work out. Well, Pete Carroll didn't. I mean, there was Pete Carroll, right? Does Pete Carroll count? Jeff R says you don't want Darnold throwing too much. Wilk's game plan was perfect. Run heavy, no turnovers. I mean, DJ Moore, 8. 4 catches, 103 yards, and a touchdown. But Jeff R., I just feel like we are so capable of being aggressive with the talent that we have on that offense. That's my only argument. That's really the only argument that I have against that. Is I just think we got too much talent on this offense to not be aggressive. Like Terrace Marshall Jr. in the times that he's played has showed up and showed that when healthy, he's almost had 100 yards receiving, and I still think it's going to happen before the end of the season. But it's like, I give credit where credit's due. What works is what works, and it equals a win because at the end of the day, wins are what count. So I'll give you that. I just feel like we got some good talent on this team. Especially another thing to point out, Jeff R., is when we get turnovers and we can't capitalize with touchdowns. That hurts a little bit. That kind of hurts the takeaway some. So that's the only thing. But like you said, the game plan works and yields a win is what it comes down to. That's the fair argument of it. Is the game plan equals a win, then hey, you can't take away from that. You can't take away from that. Baby step splits, building confidence slowly. Yeah, and that's fair point. And hey, like you said, what did it equal? It equaled a victory. It equaled a 23-10 victory. So can't knock that. Can't knock that at all. Paul says after 12 games, stars bear out more on what a team is and isn't. Panthers can't bear a team with a good run defense, as the passing game is secondary to the Panthers running game and hasn't happened. Yeah. At the same time, Seahawks are the stronger team. Yeah, stats. Gotcha. Seahawks are the stronger team, man. We all know how hard it is to play in Seattle. The last time we beat Seattle in Seattle was when we had the Super Bowl team. Fayetnam says run offenses are boring, and when teams stack the box and dare you to throw, you have to throw. We need a competent quarterback who can throw 50 times if necessary. Here's the thing. You have to adjust per game. But here's the thing. They got to do game plans that equal wins. That's what coaches do. They got a game plan for it. And if it comes to the point where running the ball is just destroying the mess out of the other team and it's yielding points, don't fix what ain't broken. And that's why I said Sam Darnold did his job. Because Sam Darnold's stats, while they weren't negative, they weren't impressive. But Sam Darnold did his job. And also you have to look at bright spots that Sam Darnold did. Number one, he didn't turn the ball over. Number two, 11-19, not bad. 103.8 rating with a 71.1 QBR. That's good. Didn't get sacked. Offensive line did their part. That's good. All Sam Darnold had to do was his job. He looked comfortable in the pocket, threw some good passes, including a deep ball. Yeah, Mr. Gemini, no batted balls. And Sam actually made good decisions. Now, yes, it would have been nice to see him throw up 300, 400 plus yards and 2-3 touchdowns. But, I mean, when he does his job and it equals a win, that's really all I care about. Paul says Seahawks' strength is their cornerbacks. Two young quarterbacks, T. Woolen and C. Bryant, have had great seasons for Seattle. They are very aggressive, but can be beat over the top. Duly note that. Jeff R. says best team in the NFL is a running team and great defense. Philly. The key to the Super Bowl is running and defense. Keep the other team off the field control the time of possession. And case in point, Jeff R., the games that we've won, we've dominated in time of possession. So that's a great point that you put up. That's a great point that you put up, Jeff R. So duly noted. But yeah, no batted balls. Seahawks 2 wide receivers are balling this year, and as has Geno Smith. Geno Smith is having a year, indeed. It's the Panthers secondary who will win or lose this game, in my opinion, and the D-line has to get to Geno Smith and cause him into making mistakes. Facts. I like the sound of that. Vietnam says Philly may have the best record, but they're not the best team. Wait. Really? Buffalo's the best team. You know what? Let's compare. Let's compare. Because you know what? Vietnam may have an argument. Because while, yes, the Philadelphia Eagles are 11-1, Buffalo is 9-3. So it's a fair comparison. Mr. Gemini says Kansas City, which Kansas City did just recently lose, but Kansas City is also 9-3. I mean, these are fair arguments. So Vietnam, Buffalo, that's a fair argument. I mean, when you look at the points, I mean, you know what? Let's take a look. Let's take a look at Buffalo. So the teams Buffalo have beaten: the Rams, Titans, Ravens, Steelers, Chiefs, Packers, Browns, Lions, Patriots. So, some good teams, some struggling teams. They've lost to the Dolphins, Jets, and Vikings, which, I mean, they've lost to, Dolphins are, what are the Dolphins now? Dolphins are 8-4, so they've lost to 3 good teams in the Dolphins, Jets, and Vikings. Now, looking at the points they've put up, 31 over the Rams, 41 over the Titans, 23 over the Ravens, 38 over the Steelers, 24 over the Chiefs, 27 over the Packers, 31 over the Browns, 28 over the Lions, 24 over the Patriots. And even in the losses, they put up 19 against the Dolphins, 17 against the Jets, 30 against the Vikings. I mean, the if we're talking like playoff contention teams, let's see. If we're talking playoff contention teams, I mean, the Bills have beaten 1, 2, 3 strong playoff contention teams that the Buffalo Bills have beaten, which are the Titans, Ravens, and Chiefs. The Rams have struggled. The Steelers, they're definitely not making the playoffs. The Packers, they're definitely not making the playoffs. The Browns, doubt it. The Patriots, doubt it. The Lions, doubt. Well, nah. So, I mean, the Bills have only beaten 3 strong playoff-worthy teams so far this season. And they've lost to 3 playoff-worthy teams. So, okay. Kansas City. Let's look at Kansas City. Kansas City, also 9-3. They have beaten the Cardinals, Chargers, Buccaneers, Raiders, Niners, Titans, Jaguars, Chargers, Rams. How are the Chargers doing this year? 6-6. I don't know about the Chiefs have really. Okay, so Chiefs have beaten the Bucks, they've beaten the Niners, and they've beaten the Titans. I mean, those are really the only playoff worthy teams the Chiefs have beaten so far. And they've lost to the Colts, the Bills, and the Bengals. So they've lost to 2 playoff worthy teams. Points they've put up. So in their wins, 44, 27, 41, 30, 44, 20, 27, 30, 26. For losses, they've put up 17, 20, and 24. Okay. Let's look at the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia Eagles, 11-1. They have beaten the Lions, Vikings, Commanders, Jaguars, Cardinals, Cowboys, Steelers, Texans, Colts, Packers, Titans. And they've lost once to the Commanders. Okay. So for the Eagles, beating the Vikings, beating the Cowboys, beating the Titans. So, and the Commanders, they're hanging in there. They're 7-5-1. The points they've put up: 38, 24, 24, 29, 20, 26, 35, 29, 17, 40, 35 in their victories. And then the loss to the Commanders, 21. Let me see. It's close, y'all. It's close. It's really close. I think if anything, the rankings may definitely contribute to that. Let me get caught up. Jeff R says they're the best team. They're good on both sides of the ball. 20 for 28, 265 yards and 3 touchdowns is a competent stat line. Buffalo is the best team, at least to me. Paul says Eagles offense can also pass with quarterback Hurts. And that's another thing. Eagles have a stacked offense. I mean, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Goddard. Panthers do not have this type of talent on their offense, and it's not close. He's got a fair point on that. I mean, we got some folks, but, Philly definitely has the advantage. Mr. Gemini says Kansas City. Jeff R says, nah, Buffalo lost like 3 or 4 games, and they don't have the line that Philly has. And that is true. Philly has a phenomenal offensive line. Mr. Gemini says, Minnesota. Oh, yeah. We can't forget about Minnesota. Minnesota Vikings are 10-2, y'all. We can't forget about those Vikings. They are 10-2. Not to mention, let's look at the Vikings, y'all. 10-2. They have victories over the Packers, Lions, Saints, Bears, Dolphins, Cardinals, Commanders, Bills, Patriots, Jets. So that's at least 1, 2, 3 potential playoff teams. And they lost to 2 playoff teams in the Cowboys and the Eagles. Points that they put up. And the wins, 23, 28, 28, 29, 24, 34, 20, 33, 33, 27. But in the losses, now one thing with the Vikings losses and the Eagles and the Cowboys, they put up 7 points and 3 points. So when the Vikings lose, they lose. But when they win, it's an impressive fashion. That's one thing you got to note about the Vikings' 2 losses. When they lose badly. But everything else, they look great in. So just keep that in mind. Josh Allen won't beat KC. Buffalo has beat many playoff teams. Only 3 this season so far, Vietnam. Only 3 so far. Paul says, my top 5 teams in the NFL as of today: 1 Eagles, 2 Bills, 3 Cowboys, 4 Chiefs, 5 Vikings, 6 Bengals. And yes, Philly blew the Vikings out. And Buffalo lost to the Vikings. That is true. That is true. Josh Allen has been reckless with senseless turnovers in the red zone this year, costing the team wins. Bills also have no legitimate running game outside of Allen running himself. Let me see. Let me see what Josh Allen's stats are like so far. Josh Allen. Josh Allen, 75.1 QBR, which is 3rd in the league. 12 games played, 64.1 completion percentage, 284 completions out of 443, 3,406 yards passing, a 7.7 average pass yards, a 283.8 yards per game. His longest was a 98-yarder. 25 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, a rating of 96.0. He's been sacked 25 times. Okay. Let's take a look at Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, a 69.2 QBR, 4th in the league. Jalen Hurts, 12 games, 243 of 357 completions, 68.1 completion percentage, 2,940 yards, an average of 8.2 yards per throw or per completion, 245 yards per game as long as it was a 54-yarder. Jalen Hurts, 20 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. Yo, Jalen Hurts could be on par for an MVP. 20 touchdowns and only 3 interceptions. It's been sacked 30 times. 108.3 rating. Yo, Jalen Hurts. That dude is in the running for MVP. He's got to be. 20 touchdowns and 3 interceptions? And then not only that, hold on. Because, check the rushes. Okay, let's check the rushes. 132 attempts for 609 yards, 9 touchdowns. His longest run was a 42-yarder. So the dude has 29 touchdowns, 20 throwing, 9 rushing, and only 3 picks. He's got to be the favorite for MVP. He's got to be. Let's see. I like Philly, but I don't think that they're the best team. I haven't seen anyone force Hurts to throw it 40 times because they can't run it. Can he put the team on his back when they take away the run? Vietnam, 20 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. I think I would have to say yes. Let Jalen Hurts beat you? 20 touchdowns to 3 interceptions? I don't think I want to take that gamble. But that's just me. Dallas and the Vikes are the best teams that they beat. Dallas and the Vikes. They also beat the Titans. Don't forget, the Titans are still in the running. The Titans are still in the running. Vietnam says, out of how many attempts? 357. So 243 completions out of 357 attempts. But Vietnam, out of 357 attempts, and you've only thrown 3 interceptions? Come on, dude. 3 interceptions this whole season so far. We're about to be in what, week 14? And he's only thrown 3 picks out of 357 attempts? How can you not be impressed with that? How can you not be impressed? Oh, okay. I was about to say. Shoot. even if it was less than 200, 20 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, that's proof that you can take care of the ball. It could be less than 200 attempts, and that still would be impressive. Wait, I still got a bunch to catch up on. Mr. Gemini says, I hate ties. Yes, me too. They score way more than us. Yes, way more than us. I would have put the Niners in top 6 if it wasn't for the loss of Jimmy G. Look at the Vikings, 2 losses and 2 blowouts, Philly and Dallas, which is why I have the Cowboys ahead of them. Vikings have won a lot of very close one-score games this year, but with a few right at the end of games. But they are 10-2, so I give them credit. But that's the crazy thing with the Vikings, though, is their 2 losses were really, really bad. So I don't know if they can be exposed. Well, I take that back. When they are exposed, it's bad. Take care, Gemini. See you next time. Carolina Panthers can win the NFC South. Still very possible. Let me see. Oh, Paul's MVP list. Hurts number 1, Mahomes number 2, Tyreek Hill number 3. Ooh, interesting. Josh Allen number 4, Justin Jefferson number 5. Actually, let me see Patrick Mahomes' stats. I'm glad you mentioned that. Let me see his stats actually. Patrick Mahomes. Ooh, Patrick Mahomes leads the league in QBR. He leads the league in QBR with a 78.5 QBR. Wowzers. He's also first in touchdowns and yards as well. Okay. Patrick Mahomes, 65.7 completion percentage, 308 completions out of 469 attempts. He averages about 8.1 yards a pass, a pass completion, 317.3 yards a game. His longest was 57 yards. 30 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Only been sacked 19 times and has a rating of 104.9. Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, I can see what he means. I can see what he means. You also mentioned Tyreek Hill. He's with, where is he? Oh, Dolphins, right? Tyreek Hill. Where are you at? Okay. 96 catches, 1,379 yards, which he's leading first in the league for receptions and yardage. Unfortunately, he only has 5 touchdowns. So, that's going to hurt his chances a little bit. Just a little bit. It's going to hurt his chances. Josh Allen, yeah, we went over his stats. Justin Jefferson. Where are you? Vikings. Justin Jefferson. Here we go. Where are you at? Oh, there you are. Justin Jefferson. 8 catches for 1,277 yards, 6 touchdowns. Second in the league in yards receiving, third in catches. Yeah, that's a close battle. That is a close battle. But I think when it all comes down to it, because I know Fayetteville, you mentioned about the offense. Here's the thing. We have the talent, but there's one other key thing. Mr. Ben McAdoo. Now, I got to keep it real with you. I can't expect a high-power offense behind a play caller like Ben McAdoo. I just can't. So you may be disappointed the rest of the season, and that when it comes to that, may be disappointed in the rest of the season. But with Ben McAdoo, I gotta be real with you. I don't see us having a high-flying offense. I really don't. I mean, it would be cool to see Sam Darnold bust out a 300-yard passing game. You know, maybe. Here's hoping. But with Ben McAdoo, I'm still hesitant because I don't think Ben McAdoo is a very good coordinator, offensive coordinator. I just don't think so. Hey, Jesse, repping that DDM like a boss. You know it. Oh yeah, I forgot about the Bengals. Bengals. How is Joe Burrow doing this season? Well, they're 8-4. Mr. Joe Burrow. 59.0 QBR, so 11th, but second in yards passing in the league and tied for second in touchdowns. Joe Burrow. Hey, what's up, James Aaron? I saw you. What's up? What was I looking at? Oh, yeah. 69.1 completion percentage, 304 completions out of 440 attempts, 3,446 yards passing, 7.8 average passing yards completion, 287.2 yards per game. His longest was a 60-yarder, 25 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, but he's been sacked 34 times. Yikes. So still taking some hits. Still taking some hits. Defensive Player of the Year, Cowboys edge Micah Parsons, 49ers Joey Bosa, Jets Sauce Gardner. Oh yeah, he's been having a year. Darnold could have that 300-yard game versus the Lions, who give up a lot of points and passing touchdowns. Whew. Here's my thing with the Lions. Lions have beaten some teams we haven't been able to beat in a while. And that includes the Packers, Bears, and the Giants. Teams we have not beaten in a while. So the Lions are making me a little nervous. I know the last time we played the Lions, we smoked them, but the Lions have been rebuilding, and they're I got a bad feeling the Lions are going to be tougher than people may think. I think they're going to be tougher. I wouldn't sleep on the Lions. Oh, man. Lions are very good at home, not so much on the road. We get them at home. Jared Goff has quietly had a good season. Yeah, they have struggled some on the road. But they did get 2 big road wins against the Bears and Giants. I mean, those are pretty big. Road wins. But yeah, they have lost a handful on the road as well. Three games on the road, to be specific, they've lost. So, but I think they could potentially be a threat, but it remains to be seen. Okay. Oh, you want to know Jared Goff's stats? Okay, sure. Okay. Let's take a look at Jared Goff's stats. Jared Goff. A QBR rating of 60.4. He's in the top 10. He's ranked 6. Passing yards, he's ranked 7th, and he's actually ranked 10th in touchdowns. Okay, Jared Goff. A 64.9 completion percentage, which is 263 completions out of 405 attempts. 3,022 yards passing, 7.5 yards average per pass, completed pass, 251.8 yards average a game. His longest was an 81-yarder, 19 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He's been sacked 19 times. He has a rating of 95.7. Not too bad. Not too bad. Although Amon-Ra St. Brown is on his way to 1,000 yards receiving. He's at 830, so he's been a favorite target. Geno Smith. Seahawks. Geno Smith. Geno Smith has a 64.8 QBR. He's ranked 5th. He's also ranked 5th in passing yards and tied for 4th in touchdowns. Okay, Geno Smith. Geno Smith has a 72.7 completion percentage, 285 completions out of 392 attempts. He's thrown for 3,169 yards, an average 8.1 yards per completion, 264.1 yards on average per game. His longest was a 54-yarder, 22 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He's been sacked 31 times. He has a rating of 108.7. I have to say, those are pretty solid stats for Geno Smith this season, y'all. Those are pretty solid stats. You know what? Geno Smith may be a sleeper. He may be a sleeper. I don't know if he would be considered in the running for MVP, but I think you have to strongly consider Geno Smith for Comeback Player of the Year. I think you have to strongly consider Geno Smith as Comeback Player of the Year. Because that's impressive for him. That's impressive for Geno Smith. DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Well, I can tell you DK Metcalf has been targeted 100 times, has 67 catches for 798 yards, 5 touchdowns. Tyler Lockett, 66 catches, 90 targets for 836 yards, 7 touchdowns. Tyler Lockett's longest was a 40-yarder. DK Metcalf's longest was a 54-yarder. I would have to say, Geno's spreading the ball pretty well between Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. And it also got Marquise Goodwin some touches. 20 catches, 282 yards, 3 touchdowns. Okay. Noah Fant, their tight end, 37 catches, 382 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, he's spreading the ball out pretty well. He's spreading the ball out pretty. Paul says Geno Smith may win Comeback Player of the Decade. Oof. I mean, I think you got to strongly consider Geno Smith in the running probably at the top of the running. Because Geno Smith is not a name that I'm pretty sure hasn't had a lot of starts. Not since 2013 and 2014, to be honest with you. But, I mean, Geno Smith definitely in the running. Definitely, I think he's got to be in the running. For sure. But for those that are curious about the draft order, we pick number 6 right now. As of now, we got bumped all the way to 6. So in case folks are wondering. And they even have us right now, according to the Tankathon, drafting Miles Murphy, edge rusher out of Clemson. They could see Texans going Bryce Young, the Bears going Will Anderson, the Seahawks going C.J. Stroud, the Lions going Will Levis. Wow, they even have the Jets going possibly Anthony Richardson. What? Really? Huh, interesting. Seahawks rookie running back K. Walker Jr. Out with a knee injury and won't likely play versus the Panthers. Their backup running back is also injured too, so a little thin at running back, and have been passing a lot more in the past, which is why I said earlier that Panthers secondary has the win this game for them. Well, J.C. Horn's been balling out. I mean, not a lot of turnovers of this, that, and the other, but J.C. Horn's coverage skills have been solid. I know there was a lot of worry whether J.C. Horn would have a struggling sophomore year, but J.C. Horn has proven he can cover. He can cover. So J.C. Horn, and then I mean, we don't have. But here's another thing though, we don't have D-Jack. He's out for the season. C.J. Henderson has been suspect. So, but we do have Jeremy Chin back. They'll be tested. That's for sure. The secondary will definitely be tested. We're going to be tested. We definitely going to be tested. But we definitely going to be tested. But anyway, holy crap, it's late. It's almost 2 a.m. I did not expect to be this long. But stay tuned because Wednesday night, y'all. Wednesday night, going to preview the Panthers-Seahawks matchup as we return from the bye and on the road to a very, very difficult place to play. But we'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to going over this matchup. Should be good. But brother got to get some rest. So I want to thank everybody for coming through. We had some great discussions. We had some great debates tonight. Y'all have been an incredible audience. But don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell while you're at it. Wednesday night, we go over the matchup. Panthers Seahawks. We're 4-8 right now. We're going to see how this last half of the season goes. We're going to see if Steve Wilks earns himself a full-time head coaching spot. We'll see if Sam Darnold, can he do it again? Came in the Denver game, did his job. Can he do it again? I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram of Blitzball Champ Gaming. This has been another Carolina Panthers talk. Hope everybody has a blessed. Last comment, Paul says, I see J.C. Horn on Metcalf, but I'm concerned on who will cover the speedy Tyler Lockett. That's going to be tough. That's going to be really tough. But hopefully we'll have some answers by Wednesday. But until then, Have a blessed evening, and I will see y'all very, very soon. Peace out. Love y'all.